And China's leader speaking out about trade overnight. President Xi said China wants to work out a trade pact with the United States and has been trying to avoid a trade war. Though then he said he also warned China is not afraid to retaliate when necessary. Eunice Yoon joins us now to put his comments in context. I hesitate to use the term du jour, but here are the comments du jour that there's always something for people that think it's going to happen, and then there's always a qualifier, it seems like, just about every day. Eunice, what do you think?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think, Joe, what was interesting is that President Xi Jinping weighed in on the Phase 1 trade agreement. This is the first time that we heard those remarks. Unfortunately, though, the content of the remarks were not anything different from the standard government line about the trade discussions. So he was speaking with a group of international visitors, including Henry Kissinger, and his main point was that China does want to have a Phase 1 trade deal. However, there needs to be an understanding that the U.S. and China are seen as equals in these negotiations and that it has to be done with mutual respect. So that is what we have heard repeatedly. And what was also interesting was how he hinted at some of the tensions in the relationship by saying that when it comes to the financial opening, China still wants to have a financial, what he called financial sovereignty. So that was also raising a lot of eyebrows over here, that it was just another reminder that even though China is opening up, it still wants to make sure that the state has quite a bit of control in a lot of different industries. Now, the stock market also wasn't particularly encouraged by his remarks. Stocks dropped to a 3-month low on the tensions. Also, the foreign ministry blasted the U.S. because U.S. naval vessels went into the South China Sea near some of the islands that Beijing claims as its own. Also, there are a lot of concerns about whether or not President Trump is going to end up turning the Hong Kong human rights bill into law. And this weekend, we're going to have another interesting referendum on the pro-democracy movement in Hong Kong, because the city is holding district elections. These are normally not particularly interesting, actually. They focus on very mundane issues. But this year, it looks as though it's going to be very, very different. Already 4 million people have registered to vote in this election. And it's going to be seen as like I said, as like a gauge of public sentiment towards these protests. And there are some concerns that Beijing and the authorities in Hong Kong could end up suspending the elections if they see more violence. There's a bit of a hint of some of this concern because the Hong Kong media just in the past hour or so have started reporting that the Hong Kong High Court has reinstated a face mask ban for the next 7 days, which would mean that it would be harder for protesters to hide their identity if they were to go out and cause, just to protest around some of these election and these polling booths. But the security is very, very tight because there is a concern from the authorities that there could be more violence. But then a lot of people who watch this closely are also worried that if these elections are suspended, that it would just inflame the public anger towards Beijing.